The 7 men and 1 woman arrived at the High Court around 11:30 a.m. They smiled and waved and brandished 3 fingers resistance signs.
Glory to you, man. 3 years. It's the word of the president.
Earlier, scores of Gambians, most of them 3S Jotna members, gathered in front of the High Court in their T-shirts in a full show of support to their leaders. In court. They appeared last week, sometime last week, at the Carnifing Magistrates Court, where the lower court transferred their case to the High Court, saying it did not have the power to hear the case.
Well, my expectation is that this is in fact good, because I am not good at going out for protests and all that. But lately, I'm being on the street all the time. I stood here last year, exactly around this time, when Yakumba's case was heard at the Supreme Court. And then the same thing that I stood here, that I believe on that day, that this is what is wrong. The government, the president, or whatever is in control here, should make sure that they take things by the law. You understood? What we are trying to prove here, if Yakumba can win that case equally, the likes of Yankuba Dabo, Abdunjai and all others have a right to protest, okay? And they are given the police, the permit by the police to protest. And then in the middle of the prophet, well before the protest being started, something happened. Let us have an independent commission, because I understand this government is very good at setting commissions. If they can provide an independent commission to go into this, you'll find very, very interesting stories to actually feed on.
It's a very great day for us, we the Gambians. What we fought for, and we don't see that, obviously. We fought for a change, but there is no change. Because what we expect from Barrow, we thought that he is going to be a competent leader, a leader with quality. That's what we expect from him. But we see that Barrow is a carbon copy of Yahya Jammeh. Because what we fought for democracy. It's not Barrow who made democracy within this country. It's the people of the Gambia who fought for it, and we have it. Right now, Barrow is just like former President Yahya Jammeh. The same style, the same kind of. There is nothing changed within the government. And we the 3 years, we agree with Barrow when this is a transition government. When we come to power, you need to obey and respect what you said to the people, nation at large. But we didn't see that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Nakonda niromba jensen kabo koina kata kato ba kara fudo mume obe kabo banku fota urot kata samsando mbeki baro janyene kameno nyola mo hakidola anu mobe da fane be ko gudo isani kairo dua fitna man fende da bar me men koindi la tata nata ha me be umenta mammo kumbade ndade na men sijang fondin jol men yalonko e ka fo 3 years kabiriya kumo fo da mutajang alifa sobe udu ala nyasi lannadu limani ya modu ngandulolo la kuma kawola e kamem fontolie ay muna firing fondin jol na inada men sinna wala munyindiko iman suula place la Gambia ala tulolo de iman suula place la Gambia iman dare ki iman tanyi bari ko ka foyelo membe sabat la Gambia banko kanjang ni membe maradola ini mo la sardo menti menyanta banko kan ni yake ini be tanyola ni make ata kafu kidungo wala nyanga findila ka fo haniko ni manyanta la teng ni manlo baro go damma kamade hanni baronde ni mennata memba noma abadal nyin ka fo lota singola bambanta sem fennata ko banko la tonya nagar la yefindige ko hani amanya na kelete nyin la hidoti bara la fo la sudan tumane ko nsen hakilotu
Jumala wati.
Lasidan tumani.
Jumala wati.
Ni afu mobe kalon.
Ntamalo.
Yala mola akbala akadende la mamfati abe lasidan tumani. Wala mu President Baroti yaman siya dila bunyata kono santa kono naman kadulati andu moma sima ila lahi do tinya wala sima imam matata la subhanahu wa ta'ala alma ala moy bang ya bani israila ijguru ni'mat allati an'amta alaykum ufu bi hadikum wa ya farhabuni alma nyim moy bang alqani ayo naji ta to memfo amanja ji ta damalede santan na baroni wa modu mulunta abe wala alako al fere gal ni lahi do timmandi nana la lahi do timmandi mara sarati gang wa iya ya fatakuni narike da ala nyasi lan nalti som fel ya do president barokan bi afodari be nyala man da babu me bedo ila da gang idabe balanding bari membe sonu me do wala mtonya la ki yungir badal uyuni alkana tonya nagara Allah jerin gola saka karan nalla ko gambe karan nalla ko bala fawart algona kilimo hadisa kilimo ikana se roma ude kwebe tonya ndungo jamfan dungo yandan dungo hadanyirla iko bala kumode dala ka tonyati ite illa muneka ikamune batu wala mala la kala zoda memule di kamala kadu ni jahne mogon bari ni ala sonda nala kila men be bulodo den ibe bola jata tulaje me jamba dong damu dara yang me bi dan singula fo be sil ka jara ko ndo labe nyimba bunkan ndo labe sabatila ndo la jamu fana inshallah ala baraka.
In court, state prosecutors led by Patrick Gomez quickly moved to apply that the case be adjourned, insisting it was only Monday that they received the file of the case from the police. The defense rejected any idea for the case to be adjourned, while also arguing that there were no proper charges before the court against the accused persons. I wish to submit that there is nothing before this court that should warrant an adjournment, Rachel Y. Mendy, lead lawyer, fired back. Mendy then moved to ask the court to grant bail to the accused persons after she accused the state of attempting to delay the case. The state cannot be allowed to abuse the process of this honorable court, she said while referring the court to a Supreme Court ruling in the case of Henry Gabriel last year, in which the top court granted bail to a man who was convicted on a manslaughter charge. The deadlock then took a fresh twist after state attorneys rejected the defense's argument and called on the court to not grant bail to the accused persons. We humbly submit that the state has no intention to delay this trial, Patrick Gomez said. He then said in relation to whether the offenses are bailable, one of the offenses which the accused persons were charged with at the lower court is not a bailable offense. That is why it was transferred to the high court. According to him, the offense in question is on count 3 of the charge sheet, which attracts life imprisonment. The state lawyer also said it is in the position of law in the Gambia that where offenses attract life imprisonment or death sentences, bail shall not be granted. In respect to the argument that the Supreme Court set a precedent by granting bail in respect to offenses that attract life in jail or death sentences, there is no precedent set by the Supreme Court, Patrick Gomez argued. He then said the Henry Gabriel case is quite distinct to the case before the High Court in that it was bail pending appeal. The defense, replying on points of law, slammed the prosecution's argument that the Henry Gabriel case was a bail pending appeal as misconceived. The issue brought up in the argument of the accused person, Henry Gabriel, was whether the purported charges are bailable. Henry Gabriel was a convict, but the Supreme Court granted him bail despite his conviction of manslaughter, Rachel Mendy argued. The trial judge Amina Cisse Saho then adjourned the case to 6th February for ruling on the defense's bail application. The session lasted for 1 hour 10 minutes, and some of the embattled leaders couldn't help but share a few comments.
We are okay. Whatever the court says, we are okay with that. All right. Yes, we are okay with that because we have not.
We don't need anything. We are okay. Really, we are okay. Thank you. Really, we ain't say we back it. So mbafuna Gambia no ala baraka nga ina gele Gambia, new Gambia. Mule right long. So ndol finita wala adungi ala sunna inshallah man satala be tonya fatala. Tonya mbole kan. Just stay peaceful. Just stay peaceful. Thank you.
The crowd chanted 3 years, 3 years as the bus conveying them leaves the court premises.
permit to someone after the person has gone out and you still want to detain the person in prison. That's not right. We're not going to accept that. Happening here, we want the whole world to see that. We want the whole world to see and know that there is still injustice in the Gambia. And Gambians are not going to stand by and watch injustice going on. They are not going to stand by. Sorry. Gambia no man 3 years long. Mune 3 years sabo jang. Ko le sono ko le ti. Ko le ti de ka mune.
We are here to demand our right. This is our fundamental right. We have killers, we have murderers walking on the street, roaming with others. So the point is, we are here to demand our rights, and we will always stand to it. So for mediator, we are ready to take it.
As aggrieved person, you cannot control all. Some people will just go out of their tune and say, because they feel like somebody should not be given a permit legally by the police, and then after the permit is purposely revoked in the 11th hour without any medium of communication, that the protesters, most of them will know this is what is happening. So that's why the crowd behind here are disappointed. But all the same, we take it in good faith. We'll always be within the ambits of the law. We'll always be within the confines of the law. And I hope everything concerning this case will be truly before the law. Equality before the law is what we voted for. Is we calling for it right now. We're calling refrain from both sides. That is the civilian side and the police side, to observe maximum restraint so that there will be no other confrontation. They are doing their job. These people have their rights as citizens of this country. So we're hoping all the two parties can heed to this advice and let peace be, for good and heaven's sake. Really.
Abdon Jai, Ibrahima Kitim Toure, Yankuba Dabo, Fantam Balo, Karim Toure, Sirifo Sonko, Mukhtar Sise, and Haji Suwane were last week charged with rioting at the Kanifing Magistrates Court. The lower court later transferred the case to the High Court upon realizing it did not have the power to hear the case.
So now no one really knows where the pendulum will swing to in respect of this case. Both sides made a very strong argument. The state led by Counsel Patrick Gomez on one hand, and you have Rachel Y. Mendy for the accused persons, the 8 accused persons. So now the case will resume on Thursday. It has been adjourned to Thursday. That is when the presiding judge, Amina Sise Saho, will deliver a ruling on whether to grant bail to the accused persons. Lamin Jai reporting for the Fatu Network News Review at the High Court in Banjul.